Good morning, all of you. So, in the previous class, we discussed about magnetic field due to a circular current carrying loop for a point on its axis, right? And we discussed a related problems also, right? So, now let us see in this class solenoid here. So, I think all of you know about this solenoid in your lower class. You have something that means you studied about this solenoid here, right? So, then actually it is nothing but solenoid means we can define it as a wire is wounded, that means closely spaced wire is wounded, insulated closely spaced wire is wounded on a hollow cylindrical pipe, non-conducting pipe we can say here, right? So it's a non-conducting pipe, it is wounded on such a non-conducting pipe here. And so actually it is closely wounded here. I am representing some gap here so that to indicate that those are the different wires there. This wire is insulated and so then it can be wounded very closely here. Like I think all of you know about this. With the help of this, we can produce some electromagnets there. When current is when we are placing some core inside this core material, that means some material like soft iron if you are placing inside the hollow pipe, and if you are switch on this circuit, that means when you are allowing some current is passing through that, it will behave like a magnet, right? That is nothing but electromagnet. So basically, it is used to produce some desired magnetic field here. The solenoid is used to produce a desired magnetic field. So with the help of that, the other applications will be there. So what we can say is it produces a magnetic field, desired magnetic field. If you want to increase the strength of magnetic field, you can increase. If you want to decrease the strength of magnetic field, you can decrease just by controlling the current here, right? So then for that it is used here. The solenoid will be generally used for that purpose. And so with the help of that, it can be different places like what I said, electromagnet, or it can be used as a switches in some cases like power off and power on, we can use that. So like different other applications will be there. So now let us see about this magnetic induction due to this solenoid here. And generally we derive an expression for this very long solenoid. And so that long solenoid, in the sense this length of this solenoid is very large when compared to that of radius, the cross section radius, right? So generally we consider such a case, and I will define for this finite length also. So just mention about the solenoid here. A solenoid is a closely spaced wire, a closely spaced insulated wire wound on a hollow non-conducting cylindrical pipe, hollow non-conducting cylindrical pipe, right? So that means it will looks like that. So then when current is flowing through that, we need to calculate this magnetic field here, and before that let us write this some dimensions of this here. Like I am taking this is the axis of this solenoid. Let us take this is the radius, and length let us take some L here. You can later you can consider it as a very infinite, that means very long length here. And then number of turns we may consider it as N. So N is the total number of turns if you are defining, for example. Then number of turns per unit length will be, you can write that as N. So that means N, small n we represent here, let N be the total number of turns. So just mention that, consider a solenoid of cross section radius R and length L having n number of turns and small n number of turns per unit length. That means the same thing you can also, small n number of turns means, then you can, in this case you can mention like this. So because generally instead of giving the total number of turns for the solenoid, for us generally they will mention that number of turns per unit length there, small n value. So that we represent with this small n here, number of turns per unit length. This is small n value is. So small n is nothing but, I can mention this as number of turns per unit length. number of turns per unit length. So that we are taking it as small n. So according to our definition, you can write this as n by L, right? And so now let us see how to derive this expression for this magnetic field due to this solenoid here. So its structure will looks like here, what I mentioned here. Now I am taking only the cross section view of this solenoid here. So this is a cross section view of this solenoid here. So what actually here we can mention here, as it is better to represent like the current is flowing here. So here you may consider that it is flowing into the plane. The cross section view means if you cut this solenoid along its diameter, then you will get like this. It appears like this. That means here say current is flowing out here and current is entering here. So that means if this is the cylinder, we are cutting this half along this diametric plane here. And so now let us consider a small element and let us write this expression for this magnetic field. So this is the axis of this solenoid I am taking here. Now I am taking a small element. So now let us consider this element like this here. So this is a small element I am taking here. So then due to this element, first we are going to derive an expression for this field at this point here. At this point we are going to derive this field at this point, so that this angle is some theta, and you may consider this angle as d theta, for example, right? So that is the angle what we are taking there. That means for this you can here the important thing you should observe here is, if you are cutting a small element from this cylindrical pipe, that means for this solenoid structure, what you will get, the element will looks like, if you are cutting a small element like this, from this if you are cutting a small element like this, then it appears like a ring, right? So now here the magnetic field due to this small element means you need to write the magnetic field due to the circular ring at a point on its axis here. So this distance I am taking as some x. So this distance I am taking as x, and r is the radius of this ring here, that element, right? So the number of turns in this small element first I am writing here. So for small element means I will write all the data related to that small element here. So the number of turns I am writing here. Number of turns in that small element. So I can write this as n into dx, right? So n is the number of turns per unit length we are taking, and so this distance you may consider it as dx, that width. So n into dx will gives us total number of turns in that small element. If you are cutting a small element, it may consist of some number of turns there. So that number of turns we are taking like that. And next we can write this magnetic field expression there, magnetic field due to this. So field due to small element, dB is equal to. So for this we need to apply our circular ring formula, what we discussed in our previous class. So we discussed in our previous class magnetic field due to a circular ring for an axial point. So for that our formula is like B is equal to mu naught, like if n turns are there, then mu naught into Ni into R square by 2 into R square plus X square whole power 3 by 2, right? So that is our formula for circular magnetic field due to a circular ring for any axial point. So I am applying that formula for this element here, right? So this is mu naught dn, number of turns, into I is the current flowing through this, R square by 2 of R square plus X square sorry, whole power 3 by 2. This is our formula, just what we applied there. That means radius is x and the distance is also we are taking that as radius is r, and the distance also we are taking as x only. Just that instead of that n we need to write dn, and the dn value you can substitute there, and we need to integrate this expression here. After substituting this, n into dx into I into r square by 2 into r square plus x square whole power 3 by 2. Right? And so then next we need to integrate this. Now the total field can be written as means field due to total solenoid or the total magnetic field. So field due to total solenoid means just you need to integrate this equation here. So the constant terms I can write this as mu naught I into r square is a constant, by 2 you can write. Then here this value is n is also constant there, number of turns per unit length, which is a constant value for the given solenoid. So dx by r square plus x square whole power 3 by 2. So now you need to simplify this. Now you can use our substitutions there, and you can convert this into like tan theta. So from figure what we can write is tan theta is equal to, if this angle is theta, then this angle also you can take it as theta, then tan theta is equal to x by r you can write. Therefore x is equal to r tan theta. So dx is equal to r into secant square theta into d theta. So you can substitute that value in that equation. Therefore this is b is equal to mu naught ni r square by 2 into dx. In numerator dx value r secant square theta d theta by this r square plus x square whole power 3 by 2 means you can write this as r square I am taking common, so that you will get r cube. So 1 plus tan square theta whole power 3 by 2 you will get. That means here x is equal to r we are substituting, so r square you can take out. So when you are taking this r square out, then whole power 3 by 2 is there, so r cube you will get. And so then 1 plus tan square theta you can write it as secant square theta, and so then you will get out of that means secant cube theta. So mu naught ni by 2 into, so now here this r square into r you will get r cube, and this r cube will be cancelled, right? And so that here this term will be like secant square theta by secant square into d theta by secant cube theta you will get here. And therefore this is b is equal to mu naught ni by 2 into integral of cos theta d theta. And now here we need to write these limits, and we need to integrate that expression there. So now let us see this. And so to take that limits of the solenoid, for example, if you are taking here, so solenoid is there up to this. Now let us draw the angles made by this line drawn from this end with this vertical here. That means that with that theta with what we defined there. So this angle, suppose if you are defining like this, then this angle alpha we are defining in the same sense, and a beta we are defining in this sense here with this opposite sense. Beta alpha I am taking this side, and beta I am taking on the other side here with this normal, because with theta we define like with that only. And these are the lines drawn from this end of this wire. And so then you can take this limits as from minus beta to alpha. Is it clear why we are taking that negative sign? It is similar to that of our straight wire. For straight wire also we got such a similar case there. Both are defined on the opposite sides of this normal, and so that for one of this angle we consider that as a negative. So here also we are taking the same thing here. So then if we simplify this, b is equal to mu naught ni by 2 into, so then sin alpha plus sin beta you will get, right? So then that is the magnetic field due to this solenoid of finite length. So here we consider that as a finite length only, right? And so now in this, like our finite wire, now regarding the solenoid, you need to remember this expression here. This is a magnetic field due to this solenoid finite length, where alpha and beta are angle made by the line drawn from this ends with the radius at that point there. So at that point where you need to find this magnetic field. And so now here different cases will be there, like our finite length of the wire. After deriving the finite length, the expression magnetic field with the finite length, we discuss the different cases there. So here also we can discuss such a different cases there. So then suppose I am taking this first case as at one end of a solenoid. Then at one end means you can cancel, like this is a solenoid. Suppose if you are taking here, then at one what end means, then you will get like this. So this is our angle alpha here. So that means then in that case that beta value will be 0, right? So at one end beta is equal to 0. Therefore this magnetic field, you can write this as mu naught Ni by 2 into sine alpha. Now this sometimes instead of giving the sine alpha, they will give this length of this object here. That means you can write this this side as L. Then from that you can define the sine alpha if it is required there, right? Sine alpha you can define it as where sine alpha is equal to, that opposite side is L by hypotenuse, you can write as under root of R square plus L square you can define. So like that you can define the magnetic field due to the solenoid of finite length at one end. And next similarly, suppose if you are taking that as a semi-infinite, like we are at one end but this other end tends to infinite if you are taking there. Right? So then here at one end of a semi-infinite solenoid, solenoid. So that means here one end is at one end we are calculating here this magnetic field. So this end tends to infinite here. This is of infinite long we are taking there, right? So then that is the case there. So in that angles, just we need to write that alpha and beta values there. So that means then here what I can mention here is that beta is equal to 0 and alpha value will be pi by 2. So like what we mentioned in case of like our infinite wire. So that means this is our alpha value here. If this line length goes on increasing, then this alpha value goes on increasing there. So if length of the solenoid is increasing, so the maximum possible value you can take that as pi by 2 when it tends to infinite. So that therefore this magnetic field you can write this as mu naught Ni by 2 into sine pi by 2 plus sine 0. And therefore this is mu naught Ni by 2. So this is a magnetic field at one end of a solenoid here, infinite solenoid. So then that is at one end of an infinite solenoid, the magnetic field is given by this expression here, right? And next, if you are taking both ends tends to infinite. So next to mention that so magnetic field due to a solenoid, that means magnetic field due to a solenoid of infinite length. So here as I said, you need to remember that infinite in the sense simply its length is very large when compared to that of radius. The infinite meaning itself is nothing but that only. It is comparatively very large. So if radius is say of centimeters of order centimeter, and if length of object is length of the solenoid is like 10 meters or 20 meters, then you can consider that as an infinite there, right? So then there is the meaning of this infinite here. So then infinite solenoid, and we are defining well inside here. That means this end will tends to infinite. Just to represent it as a solenoid ends, I am representing like this. This end tends to infinite here. So now we are calculating magnetic field well inside here. That means at a point P. It need not be midpoint of the solenoid here. It is some internal point. That means that angle, that side from that point, that side tends to infinity, and from that point this side also tends to infinity. That is the meaning there. Internal point. It need not be the midpoint there. So for the infinitely length solenoid means. So in this case, what we can mention here is, and actually this case is important for us, and if nothing is given, and most of our problems, any problems related to solenoid will be related to this infinite length only, right? So here what we can mention here is, here alpha is equal to beta is equal to pi by 2 you can write, and therefore this beta value, that means that b value you can write here mu naught ni by 2 into sin alpha plus sin pi by 2 plus sin pi by 2, right? And therefore this magnetic field due to the solenoid of infinite length is mu naught ni. The two will be cancelled. So this is the expression actually, and these expressions you need to remember here. The magnetic field due to the solenoid of infinite length. So most of the problems related to the solenoid will be of due to this infinite length only. So that is a magnetic field due to the solenoid of infinite length, right? So for a point well inside this solenoid, not near the ends. If it is near the ends, then we need to approach this one. And then if it is not the near the ends, well inside this, then we need to take this expression there, mu naught ni we need to consider there, right? So that is the magnetic field due to this solenoid here, right? So these are different cases what we discussed. This is for the finite length, and then this is our length here. That means for infinite length, as I said, you need to remember this expression. In different books, they may approach that angles in a different way, so that you will get in terms of like a cos alpha and cos beta, that expression may be there in terms of that, and don't get any confusion. Then they will take that alpha and beta in a different way. That means that if you are getting in terms of cos function, here I am getting in terms of sine function. That means I am choosing this method because you can easily remember when you are comparing with our line of, that means that straight wire. So for straight wire of finite length also we will get such a similar expression. So here also you will get such a similar expression, so that I preferred this way of choosing that angles there. If you are taking, suppose this alpha is measured here for example, then you may get in terms of this cos function, because here if this is alpha, if you are taking this as alpha in our derivation or in different books if you are observing, then instead of this alpha, sin alpha, then sin of 90 minus alpha you need to write, automatically you will get in terms of the cos function, right? So don't get any confusion regarding that in terms of either sin or cos. Both are same expressions only, but you need to define, that means that angles correspondingly. That angle, whether you are defining with the vertical or with the axis, that will be different there. So don't get any confusion in that by saying that expression in different books in different ways. And then regarding this, the another important thing is, for a solenoid, now what is the direction of the magnetic field here? What is the direction of magnetic field due to this solenoid? So then that is important here. So simply you can revise our, that means you can remember our, in yesterday class we discussed like magnetic field due to the circular ring on its axis. What is the direction of magnetic field due to the circular ring on its axis? Only along the axis. Either it may be towards the center or away from the center. That depends on the direction of current, direction of flow of the current there, right? So then here also we are using that, we are deriving this expression based on the same concept there, so that this expression, that means in this class this direction is also same as that of our circular ring. So it will be along the axis. The magnetic field due to the solenoid will be only along this axis of the solenoid here. So either it is towards left or towards right, means that depends on the flow of direction of the current there. So just mention that. So mention about this next point here. The direction of magnetic field, the direction of magnetic field due to this solenoid, for any internal point, that means for any point on its axis, is parallel to the axis, is along the axis. So whether it is towards right or towards left, as I said, that depends on this direction of flow of current here. For example, if current is flowing like this, so if current is flowing here in this solenoid, if current is flowing like this, for example here, right? So then here the magnetic field direction will be along this direction, towards left you will get here. So then if you are taking a point here, then magnetic field direction will be towards left, you will get like that. If current is flowing in opposite direction, then you will get towards left, right there. So another important thing here is the magnetic field due to the solenoid outside the solenoid will be negligible. So that means we take that as a 0 only. Outside this solenoid, only the magnetic field will be there inside the solenoid only, right? So the whatever the magnetic field we are deriving here, that magnetic field will be there only confined within this solenoid only, inside the solenoid only. The magnetic field outside the solenoid will be 0. There is no any magnetic field outside the solenoid. So actually, if suppose this is the case, the field lines will be there like this. We can represent this and the field lines will be there like this. So the field lines we can represent like this, the magnetic field lines. That means they will travel some large loops there, and so that they will come again, they will enter here, because you know that magnetic field lines are closed loops. So the magnetic field lines are closed loops, and so they will take some again a curve here and they will enter here. That I am not representing that. So if current is flowing, the magnetic field direction will be there like this, and so lines will be there like this. So you can mention this, these lines are entering from somewhere like this here. So these lines will enter here if the direction of current flow is like this, and so that they will come out this magnetic field there, right? That is the magnetic field lines representation there. And mention that also the magnetic field outside the solenoid is negligible, and so we consider it as 0. Right? So the magnetic field outside means we consider it as 0 here. So only inside means we will consider like this. So the magnetic field outside is 0. So the expressions what we deriving is nothing but inside there, right? And next, if suppose sometimes they may ask like some core is placed inside that, like some other material. Here I said it is a hollow pipe, cylindrical pipe what we are considering there. If you are placing any core inside this, so if you are placing any core, so mention that. So if a core is filled with a material, of relative permeability mu, then magnetic field inside the long solenoid is given by mu into Ni we need to write, where mu is the permeability of that medium. So but here mu r is equal to mu by mu naught you can write. So that implies that mu is equal to mu naught into mu r you can write. So therefore this B is equal to mu naught into mu r into Ni we need to write. So whenever a core material is placed here, then this magnetic field is given by that expression there, right? So that means now that mu r value will be in general for the magnetic materials, like it will be like iron, or that means like soft iron, it will be greater than 1 you will get that relative permeability. For soft iron it will be approximately around 1000 you will get, and so that means that relative permeability value. And so now from that you can conclude that the magnetic field, once if you are placing this soft iron inside this solenoid as a core, the magnetic field strength will increase there, right? So that is the reason why we are placing this such a core materials in the galvanometer. In galvanometer, just if we rewind that, in galvanometer we placed a soft iron cylinder inside that coil, and we call that as a core material. And so that core is there, we mentioned already the reason, in order to increase the magnetic field. So here you can observe that this is a mathematical equation how it will increase the magnetic field value there. So mu r value will be greater than that one, so that we can say that this magnetic field with the core will be greater than that of without core, right? So that is when you are placing this core here. And actually this solenoid will act as a bar magnet, and that we will discuss later. Once if this bar magnet is completed for you, then you can discuss about the solenoid as a bar magnet there, right? And then here actually we can also derive this solenoid, especially this expression here, magnetic field due to a solenoid of infinite length, with the help of Ampere's law. And after completing, Ampere's law is not yet completed for us. So after completing this Ampere's law, and I will also explain how to derive this expression in case of a infinite length, that means infinite solenoid there, right? So this is the information regarding this solenoid here. And then in this solenoid only, like suppose if the solenoid is the two ends of the solenoid is bent like this in the form of a circle, if you are joining those two ends here, that means this what we are saying is the solenoid means we are wounding that wire on a hollow pipe. Now the two ends of the pipe are joined together so that it forms a circular tube, right? And so then such an arrangement is nothing but we call toroid. Now let us see the simple expression for this toroid here. If you know the solenoid expression, then you can write the toroid expression easily. So just to see that, so the toroid, so this toroid means you can represent like this, just it is a solenoid bent in the form of a circle like this. And so now here this is the ends of the that means that ends of the solenoid are just bent like this. So the ends of the solenoid are bent like this, and now these two ends here, suppose if current is entering here, then it will leave like this, right? So just mention that toroid. So this mean radius r we are taking here, the mean radius is r. So just mention that toroid means if the two ends of a solenoid, are joined together such that it forms a circular tube as shown in figure. It forms a circular tube as shown in figure. Then it is called toroid. That means now we can say that it is an example for endless magnet. That means for magnet generally we define the north pole and south pole, right? So if it is like this, if you are placing some core material inside this, like a soft iron material is placed inside this, and if current is allowed to pass through that, it will act like a magnet. Now in that magnet you can't define the north and south poles there if the two ends are joined like this, right? So that means we can say it as an example for endless magnet or poleless magnet here. No pole will be there for this magnet. You can't define any pole for this magnet. For this you can define. Like if magnetic field is coming out here, then this will behave like a north pole and this will behave like a south pole in this case, because the lines of force will come out from this magnet. In case of bar magnet, they come out from the north pole and they will enter the south pole. So this will solenoid, for this solenoid we define this poles like this here, right? So now let us see the magnetic field calculation here. The magnetic field calculation, that means this r small r, we are taking it as a mean radius here, mean radius of this toroid. And then now this, suppose the magnetic field we are calculating here. So the magnetic field inside this is again the same as that of this solenoid here, because it is nothing but a solenoid only, right? We are just bending the solenoid here. So the magnitude of this magnetic field, we can say it as the same as that of our toroid, solenoid. Therefore magnetic field we can write this as mu naught Ni we can write, right? Where N is number of turns per unit length, so that means that we can write this as N by, here just we write this length of this solenoid as 2 pi r. So that means r is the mean radius of this toroid we are taking here, and so then its length of this solenoid, you can write this as 2 pi r here, right? And so therefore this will be B is equal to mu naught into Ni by 2 pi r, you can write. So right, so this will be the expression for this here. Magnetic field due to this toroid means just we write like this. That means just you can observe this, just it is nothing but our solenoid expression only. Just number of turns we define that means number of turns per unit length we replace in terms of this number of turns there. That means N by, we define like N by 2 pi r. That length of the solenoid is now defined here. So 2 pi r is the length of this solenoid, you can say that. Then you can define like N, that small n value as N by 2 pi r, just we are replacing that. So that is nothing but the magnetic field due to this toroid. And so now here the magnetic field will again confined within this toroid only. That means within this circular tube only there, right? So that will be the another point you need to remember here. So that is just a magnetic field due to this toroid expression there. And so then based on this solenoid, they may give like different problems. They may be there like in the different in the coming section like EMI also there will be some problems based on this. It can produce, as I said, it can produce a variable magnetic field or the desired magnetic field it can produce. If current, simply if you are varying the current, then magnetic field produced by the solenoid also changes there, right? Or they may give the applications like what we discussed already, a particle, motion of the charged particle in magnetic fields, right? So then they may combine that concept with the solenoid there, because suppose if you may project the a charged particle from the inside this solenoid there, so that means it will travel inside this magnetic field. So then we need to apply again this motion of the charged particle concepts there, right? So then such a concepts also we need to consider there. And here in the solenoid problems, majority of the problems you need to remember that we assume that the field inside the solenoid is almost uniform, we assume there. What we deriving like mu naught Ni is nothing but the assumed to be uniform magnetic field inside this. Because as I said, the cross section of the solenoid is very small when compared to this length. So that we assume like it has a uniform magnetic field only inside, and outside, as I said, it will be zero, right? So that those are the points you need to remember regarding this solenoid. And in the next class, I will explain about this force between the two parallel conductors there, carrying conductors. Force between two charged particles we already discussed there. Now in the next class, I will explain this force between the two current carrying conductors, right?